And so that brings us to takeaways. What was your takeaway from this chapter?
Harry Potter's been through so much, and yet he is still him, like unwaveringly still the sweet boy who is kind and considerate of others, and is, I mean, the fact that although he's starving, he shares with Hedwig, and like when he's like being so nice to Dobby, and he is treating him, like it says, like an equal. Yeah, and double, you know, like thinking back instead of asking, "What are you?" and realizing in his head before he says it that might be offensive, that might be a little bit rude. Think twice in your head before things come out of your mouth. Society. He's able to make that understanding. Like, okay, sometimes things come out of your brain, but they shouldn't come out of your mouth, and say, "Who are you?" instead. Right. Yeah, that was my takeaway. Like, even going through all that stuff, he's still genuinely just sweet as pie.
So that was the first thing I wrote down, was how polite he is no matter what. Like him thinking, oh no, I shouldn't say that, it would be rude, and offering Dobby a seat. And as he goes on, talking to Dobby, like you said, like an equal, which flips Dobby out. The second thing is Uncle Vernon and his Japanese golfer joke. And then there's another part that we glossed over where he says, like where Harry's trying to come downstairs behind Dobby after Dobby's run out of the room. And he's trying to keep it super quiet, but he can overhear the conversation. And Uncle Vernon tells Mr. Mason, oh, Petunia's been dying to hear your your story about the American plumbers.
Oh.
And I got to think, because they're in the UK, once again, it's probably problematic. And then I also wrote down how there is more evidence of the cruel and abusive behavior here, the threats to flay him to within an inch of his life, claiming that he's disturbed, and then just going on about their business, locking him in his room and only giving him cold food and letting him go to the bathroom twice a day. So yeah, those were my takeaways.
I wrote that in red. Uncle Vernon, like all of the abuse. Yeah,
just he's consistently been abused since he was a year old in this house, and yet and still he's still super polite. And Vernon's probably problematic jokes and stories just give you a little more insight into how terrible he is.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
How did Dobby get the letters?
I don't know. He has magic, so...
But he has a job to do, right?
That's true.
Busy.
But I feel like, so we know that any houses that have house elves are really huge houses, like the big, rich...
Manors.
Manors. That was the word I was looking for. I was thinking mansion, but I knew that wasn't right. So, like, big manors, right? With wings and floors and stairs, and I figure he can sneak away and nobody would really notice as long as he's doing whatever it is he's supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
But doesn't the mail always
possibly be in a different part of the house?
But doesn't the mail always get delivered through the mail flap in the door? The one that Uncle Vernon boarded up one time?
No, it would be coming by owl, because they would be sending it magically. They wouldn't send it through USPS, except maybe Hermione, but she didn't.
Because I remember Ron. Well, Hagrid definitely would have sent an owl. Maybe.
So would Ron. He wouldn't have known any other way.
Well, no, because remember that one. well, we'll touch on it later.
It happens later.
Yeah, an attempt at sending something through regular post. Okay, so is he intercepting these owls then? And then
That's what I'm thinking.
Is
That's
he
what I'm
just
thinking.
outside of their house for like a week?
Do owls have some kind of forwarding system like the USPS does, where you could be like, oh, send all of this person's mail to this address instead? I don't know. I figure he had to be intercepting owls, and that Hermione had to be sending hers by owl for him to have them. Because if she sent him regular mail, which she could be inclined to do because she's Muggle born,
Yeah.
then Uncle Vernon would have confiscated them anyway.
Yeah.
So the fact that Dobby has them makes me think that she sent hers by owl as well, and that Dobby was confiscating owls.
That's a lot of work.
Harry ain't even so much as seen an owl other than poor Hedwig locked in her cage.
Yeah. Man, that's awful. Do you think, wait, did it say that Hedwig's cage was locked?
Padlocked. Uncle Vernon
Right?
put a padlock on it.
So she can't even like jump around the room.
Not really. Nope. She can barely spread her wings. She's in the cage. Also, at one point, while Dobby's punishing himself and screaming, it wakes up Hedwig, and Hedwig starts screeching as well. And I think that's what really brought Uncle Vernon upstairs the first time.
Yeah. Man, all the abuse.
Dude.